Hello, everyone. First of all, happy Independence Day. It is our 75th Independence Day for India. So, hope you're enjoying the day. At the same time, we have a special session for today focusing on center of capabilities in success factors, right? So, when I say capabilities, what comes to your mind? Any? So, you can type in the chat window, or if you're watching on the YouTube, you can put in the chat. Okay, it is the ability. I can see that. Yeah. Yes. So you're right. So now, so let's move on. What is the center of capability? So this is a very new functionality which is SuccessFactor has introduced recently, and this is something is a platform framework for storing, assessing, and recommending and maintaining the holistic entire view of every individual's skills, competencies, certifications, communication style, and there are different other attributes. Okay? So people may bring themselves, the entire whole safe model, they call it, right? So this is a platform, as I was saying. So it is more than the whatever we have seen earlier job profile builder. It was more focused on your specific things like your let's say your only for competency skills, all those things. But it is more than that, right? So it this helps. So this platform will be helping you in maintaining your storing your recommending all of your employees skills competencies whatever we have discussed, right? So we will see how does it work and all shortly, but from an understanding point of view you have to understand it's a more holistic view of an individual, right? So that's the it's a platform framework in success factor. So now coming to the next part. So whenever I'm saying center of capabilities, here we'll be talking about two major things. One is the capabilities library. In success factor, we do have capabilities library, and also at the same time we do have capabilities portfolio, right? So we'll be talking about all these details in much more way. So let's discuss what is the capabilities library and what is the capabilities portfolio, right? So let's discuss that. Okay. So before we discuss, I will a little bit focus on the evolution of the product. So earlier days when success factors started, earlier, we had a legacy families, job roles, competency libraries, and we usually called this JDM or job description manager, right? So this was a two very earlier days. It was there 10 years back, I will say. So over the period of time, it evolved into JPB, okay, so which is still active and we are still using it, job profile builder. And currently, the center of capabilities, it is again for the superset of your JPB. So in JPB, we do have our own competency skills library. We have job families, job roles, a lot of stuff. But over and above, you will be seeing all these things in the center of capabilities. We have more features, more content in terms of various other categories of employees skill set, or you can say their aspirations, right? So all those things we will be able to see that in the COC or the center of capabilities, right? So now people who are very new to success factor, if you do not know what is a JPP, this is also a framework which was used to capture your job families and job roles. And there are some standard templates were available in from those templates, we're able to connect, copy, and whatever is required for our performance employee profile, we would be generally we use those job profile. And it is connected to various modules like your recruiting module while doing a recruitment. So you need some specific job description or the competence required during that interview, right? So all those things you can be also captured from the JPB, right? So similarly, from a performance management point of view, so in the performance management also you capture different competency and what are the competencies are required for a particular job, right? So how the rating will happen. So everything was captured from this JPB. So this is a very good tool or a framework, I would say. Now, Both JPB and your center of capability, they are based on the MDF model. Okay, so metadata framework, so they are say support also the RBP. In success factor, we have RBP, role-based permissions. They are supporting both. Both of them support. And COC, your center of capabilities, not only contains your capabilities library or capabilities portfolio, it is also having your JPB and machine learning. So there is also a recommendation engine which is involved. And accordingly, it is also connected to there is a new module or a new product opportunity marketplace, okay, which we'll be talking about it in later on in some other session. Okay. But at present, let's focus on these are the different areas. Now I'll be giving few examples. You might be wondering what are the different things or whatever I have explained. So we'll be giving some example. So then it will be much more clear, right? So whenever I am saying your center of capabilities, right? So we will be at the high level, we'll be having a library. So let's say in the library, again, will be further divided in different categories. And inside the category, we can have a grouping. So these are different hierarchy, level of hierarchy. And under group, we will be having competency, sub-competencies, whatever. So this is a completely hierarchical structure, I will say. And we'll be seeing a couple of examples. This is generic example I have given. Suppose you are having a people library or it's a HR library. Okay. And inside that competency library, you will be having a category, one category, let's say, optimizing diverse talent. Okay. And or it simply it can be a talent management or something like that. Okay. Or talent transformation, right? And inside that category, you can have multiple groups. Okay. It can be talent acquisition, it can be talent development. Okay. It can be anything. So talent acquisition is one of the group, right? And under talent acquisition, you can have a competency known as attracting the top talent, right? So attracting the top talent is one of the competency you can define. So this is just one example which you can model in our center of capabilities. There can be multiple examples which I will be also taking you through, and I have taken from different sources. From let's say the second example, this is one of the leading OD organizations who provide consulting to different organizations, Corn Ferry. So if you see their model, okay, so they also actually come up with the same idea. So you will be having people HR library, and inside that we'll be having the category called optimizing diverse talent. Group can be the talent acquisition, that can be a group, and competency can be attracting the top talent. So this is one of the example which you can model in our success factor competence center of capabilities framework. Okay. Hope it is clear. If you are clear, just type yes in the chat. Okay. Thanks. Yes. Similarly, we have some other examples also, which I'll be giving now. So this is the example which I have taken from my favorite SHRM, which is the leading networking, or you can say the site where subscription model where you can take different contents, authentic content, globally accepted, right? Even I'm a member of SHRM, Society of Human Resource Management. If you do not know, you can search about it. And if possible, you can also, I recommend to take their subscription, world-class content they provide in terms of concept and also the framework model, right? So even if you're a technology consultant, it is very good help. It will be very useful for you. So now coming to the SHRM recommendations. So they are also having, they follow a 9 different categories, 9 different, in their competency model, they follow different 9 major competencies and all, but they have categorized into different parts, like a leadership is one of the category for them, or they call it sometimes cluster, I believe. And if you want to see more, you can, I will also after towards the end of the session, I will just show you what other details are there. And in the category leadership, under leadership category, you can have a different groups like leadership and navigation, ethical practice, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those can be the competencies groups. And again, when it comes to the exact competency, we can have like managing HR initiatives, personal integrity, connecting DEI to your organizational performance. So these are the different competency we can have. Right? This is one of the, again, one of the examples of center of capabilities, which we can model this data. So this is the kind of a data you can say, and we can model it in our center of capabilities. Right? So you have to just remember the hierarchy. So at the library, it comes at the top. Then below library, we have a category. Then we have a group. Then we have competence. Okay, so this is a standard hierarchy when it comes to success factor. Right. So I'll be giving another example. So another category we can have interpersonal, okay, category. So SHRM also have a cluster called interpersonal cluster. And inside that, we have a competency group, like we have relationship management, communication, global mindset. Okay. And again, under that, so we have a further, so I have not given all the examples, but I have just handpicked few of those groups and few of those competency from SHRM, and which we can model in our success factor center of capabilities. So inside the competency, we can have a negotiation, we can have a conflict management, we can have a teamwork, right? So these are the couple of examples which I thought of sharing with all of you. Hope it will be useful. So the next example is the business category. Okay, so under business category, HR. So you are seeing all this under people or HR library, right? So I'm not deviating, I'm not going to other profile like finance, sales, because that can be also different one. They may be also having similar kind of a grouping. Okay. So from HR point of view, so business category, under business category, you should have a business acumen, consulting, analytical aptitude. These are the different groups we can have. And in the competency, we can have business analysts, strategic alignment. Okay. So you can have HR, data modeling. Okay. There can be many things. Okay. But these are the few examples which I thought of sharing with all of you. Okay. So now with this understanding, now we will go back to the our practical hands-on part. So let's move on to that. I will stop sharing and I will be sharing my other screen. Let's see. Okay. So now, just to summarize what we have seen, we have just seen as a mind map. You can see the center of capabilities we have seen. Inside the center of capabilities, we have capabilities library, right? And inside that library, we will be having categories. And under category, we will be having the groups. And under groups, you can have your competency, whatever you need it, right? So I'll just make sure you understood this. So I'll make it competence. So one thing you might be having questions, somebody has asked whether skills are captured. At present, no. But there are some workaround we can have how we can capture the skills. But at present is more focused on the competency, not the skills. So the next one is again the capabilities. So this is a capability library we have seen. So what is a capability portfolio? So in the capability portfolio, this is again a repository to store all of your assignment and assessment of a role specific category of an employee. Okay, so capability is all about, whenever I'm saying portfolio, it is all about the person. Okay, what as a person or as an individual, what the person is having. Okay, so those details will be captured in the capabilities portfolio. Okay, so what kind of roles he is playing, what kind of roles he has been assigned, okay, and what are the assessment he has gone through. So those details will be captured in your capabilities portfolio. Okay? So this is just to summarize what we have seen so far. Okay, now without any further ado, we will go to the success factor screen and we will see how the capabilities and all these things are captured here. Okay. So for that, I will go to the manage capabilities. Manage center of capabilities. If I go inside it. So this is how a typical capabilities library looks like. So at present, you can see in the left-hand side, we have a capabilities library, competency, and capabilities portfolio, right? So capabilities portfolio, I'm not going to start here. We'll start with the capabilities library first. So inside the capabilities library, we will pick one of the existing library, right? So this is an existing library, 2.1 competency library. You will see that what is in the store. So in this library, we can see this is already in active status and we have one category. Okay, so at present, it is not configured anything here. But if you want to add any new category, you can put some category like that. So let's say we are talking about the SHRM, right? Leadership is one of the category. Okay. And this code, I can put it like SHRM. Let's say this is we are bringing from SHRM. Put it like this. Right. So this is, we can see 15th of August, we created a leadership category and it is coming from SHR. So inside what is the further? So if you see one of the existing lab inside this library details guide goes further. So we have groups and competencies, right? So here in success factor, we have in this library, we have 19 competencies like accepting responsibility, teaching, driving projects to completion, showing community and social responsibility, demonstrating tenacity and perseverance, okay, adapting to others. So there are so many competencies here we can see, and we can also keep on adding here, right? So here, and if I go one of the competency here, let's say showing community and social responsibility, my favorite. And inside that, if I go, so here you can see further details, right? So at a competency level, also you have different behavioral things you can attach here. Okay. So what is a behavioral skills? So if you have to understand this, so there are, I think I have a slide for that. How to have that. So this is something, yes. So whenever you're discussing competencies and so there are two types. So first of all, let's understand what is a competency definition. So many of you, I think you're having some questions on competency. So what is the definition of a competency? So I'll be giving a sophisticated one, mostly accepted definition of it. So you can see that. So, so the definition, by definition, it is competency is a cluster of highly interrelated attributes like your knowledge, skills, and abilities. So in short, they call it KSA, and that give rise to behaviors which is needed to perform a given job effectively. So this is the SHRM definition of a competency, and the competencies can be two types. It can be in general, it can be two types, like it can be technical or it can be behavioral. And technical competency will reflect what the knowledge you are having, whatever the knowledge, because without knowledge, you cannot perform a work, a specific role. In any case, whether you are HR or a finance, right? So you have to have the knowledge, right? So for that, you have to, so here you have to have your knowledge, proper knowledge, and then only you will be able to perform that particular job. But after having the knowledge, what next? You should be also able to facilitate the application, whatever you you have learned in the technical knowledge. Okay, so you have to exhibit that behavior. Okay, so technical competence is all about what knowledge HR profession apply to their jobs. Behavioral competency is all about how you have achieved that, how you have applied that knowledge. Okay, maybe while applying that knowledge, you might have faced some challenges. You have overcome the challenges, right? So how, that is also very important to understand. What is not only the what, okay, or also how. So you need to understand the both. So this is a again a technical versus behavioral competence you need to understand, right? So this is something which I thought of sharing with all of you, people who have queries related to this. Now let's move on to the next part as we're discussing. So now I will go to the system once again. Let me go to the system. Yeah. So this is a system. Here we can see, we can also capture the behavior. Okay. So we have three things here: competency details, proficiency level, so and your competency items. Right. So there are three things. So what we can do inside this, we have an option to add here. So we can add a behavior, a particular behavior, and we can write the description and we can make it active. Okay. So behavior, again, the example can be uh, exhibits leadership quality I may not be the perfect one, but you will be finding all these details whenever you're designing a competency framework, right? This is a purely HCAS activity, human capital advisory tool. They generally do it. Okay. So, and you just give me an example, simple example. So this is one of the example. Behave, exhibit courage, something like that. Okay. So if I go inside that particular behavior, so I can see that detail about it. So this is something at a behavioral level also I can see. Okay. This is how competency we can build and we can create inside this particular competency how we can attach a behavior. Okay. So proficiency level description, if you go here, you check it out. There is no data here. Add it. Yeah. So again, whether it is a core competency or not, that also you can select from here. Okay. So what this is all about here, you can see if any group is there, then I will be able to find out. But here at present, no groups are there, right, in this system. But if you want, you can create a group also. So this is something. Competency level description, competency. So these are the different things you can see here, and also, so this is what are the fields you want to see and what you want to that you can customize this for your requirement. This is part one of the competence. One of the competence inside this category. So as we're talking about the grouping, right? So what I will do, if I'm having already the SHRM competency guide, okay, so let me open that as well. So that it will be very helpful for you to understand this concept. Because in the market, there are so many literature for this topic in the area of competency model. Okay. So you'll be finding very interesting. Right? Okay. Yeah. So in the SHRM, this is the guide which I am referring. So this is the guide, SHRM body of applied skills and knowledge. This is just an example I'm saying. So here you can see what this politic cluster, we are making it as a categories now also now. Leadership cluster, we do have interpersonal cluster. Okay. And under that, we have a category. Under that, we're having groups. Under that, we are having these are the competence. Okay. So like as I was talking about, I have taken one of the examples from here, a leadership cluster, which we can make it as a category. And inside that, we can have a groups like leadership and navigation, ethical practice. And under that, we can have a specific competency like navigation, navigating organization, professional integrity. So this is again hierarchy you can see. The personal cluster, we have a relationship management, we have communication, we have a global mindset. Suppose if I'm going for global mindset, inside that we have again further competency. Okay, so this is whatever you're seeing sub competency that we can capture as a competencies in our center of capabilities framework in SuccessFactors. Okay, so like operating in a global environment, advocating for a cultural, diverse, and inclusive workplace. Okay, so this can be our competency, and this can be a competency group. Okay, the group we can have, and the category we can have those specific stuff. Okay, interpersonal cluster. What they're saying a cluster, we can model that. Okay? So this is just an example which I have given, but you can do it further, and you can discuss with your HR, your clients. Okay? And but this is a very right example to start with because this is globally accepted. These models, these competency frameworks, and all. Okay? And similarly, we do have another framework. This is a Conferry organization, so they have their own leadership architect global competency framework, right? Similarly, the way we have in SHR, we have a cluster and all these things. They call it a factor. Okay? So factor is your thought, then results, then we have people, okay, then we have a self. Okay, so self I will be more talking about. Okay, let's say as an HR, I should have a self. What are the different this can be your let's say category if you're following this framework. Okay, then inside that we can have a groups like being authentic, being open, being flexible and adaptable, and under that we can have a competencies like courage, instills trust, demonstrates self-awareness, self-development, manage ambiguity, nimble learning, being resilient, situational adaptability. So these are the different competencies which we can design in our center of capabilities, right? So this is something I will recommend you. It will be available. I will be also sharing this with you in the link in this. If you're watching in the YouTube, I will be providing the link of this, and you can download the material from there. Yes, this is a publicly available document. Okay, so no need. So you just understand. And this is again a framework. We're just trying to model it, right? So now what we can do, we can come here and we will try to group one of the category. Let's say from SHRM point of view, we want to create a group. Okay. So let's say we're creating this one. Okay. So let's go to the index page. It will be very easy for us to navigate. Or the diagram, there is a engine structure diagram that will be very helpful. Yeah, this is the diagram. I love it. So here we can see under leadership, we have this three. Okay. Under interpersonal, we have a communication, relationship management, global mindset. Under business, we have these three. Okay. Business acumen, consultation, analytical aptitude. Right. So this is something which we can model. And under that, whatever we are having, we can add further design. So for the time being, let's categorize. We can have a categorize like this, and we can have a groups and further competence. So in the group, okay. So what we'll be doing before coming to here, okay, so in the category details itself, we can have a further category. Let me go there. Okay, leadership is one category. Okay, so this is coming from SHRM, right? So similarly, as we follow this model, we can have interpersonal and business. Okay, so let's try that. Interpersonal, and so the description we can write it down. So from the library, SHRM document. Okay. Okay. So you can see record external of type category already exists. So what you can do, so you can have it is to be a unique one. Okay. So for that reason, you can make a code of it like SHRM 002 like that. Or earlier one, I will just change it to SHRM 01 if I can. This. So it is super flexible. You see. And also, if you want to edit translation, that also you can do. The challenge. Okay. So now this is what you can say some of the categories. So now coming to the categories here. I'll be creating another category. Let's say that is my business, which is business, this one. Do that. SHRM 003. Right. Clicking adding. Okay, so now we have categorized all these things. Library, inside this library. Now we will go inside one of that. Let's say I will go for leadership. So inside the leadership, what I can do, I can create the groups, right? So let's go to the groups, add it here. So before that, let's remember the code here before that. So this is coming under SHRM 001. So let's follow a particular naming convention so that we'll not be getting confused here, right? So let's go to SHRM 001.01. That is the naming convention we'll follow. Yeah. So let's add a group here. So that group is here, leadership and navigation. This can be one of the groups. And code can be SHRM 001.01. Let's try this way. Then add it. So this is became one group. Okay. Similarly, we will be just completing this exercise quickly. So under leadership also we do have ethical practice. This is SHRM 001.02. Add it. Another group which I will create, that is a diversity, equity, and inclusion. and I will put it here as SHRM 001.03. So we can create like this, and also be very easy to understand. Okay, so these are the three groups we have created. Okay. So now, under diversity, equity, and inclusion, let's go further. What we can do here. So this is a group. Okay. Under category of a leadership, we have a group diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is having code this. And inside that, we'll be adding the competencies. Okay. So let's now, you see, these are now non-editable. Okay, so we are actually inside the SuccessFactors library we're creating. Otherwise, we can create a separate library for us. So I'm just giving an example, but can also have our own library, SHRM library. Okay, so that also you can try. Okay. So while adding the competency, what we can do, as it is belonging to diversity, inclusion. Okay. So I will go to that particular section of this document. So you'll be having, these are the four things you'll be having. These are three things you'll be having this competence. So under diver, so here in this document, they are calling it a soft competency because they're already having competency. But here what we can do, we can maintain it as competence. So let's say creating a diverse and inclusive culture, this is for competence. We have added it. Similarly, so this is a code which is auto-generated. You don't have to worry about it. That's just like a group or other details, right? So other one will be ensuring equity effectiveness. This will be another competencies. And next competence is connecting DEI or performance. Yeah. So in this way, you can create the competencies under a particular tool. Okay. So this is something you can see here. And what is next? Suppose if you go for a particular competency, let's say connecting DEI to a organization performance. Okay. So here you can add behavior. Okay. So for that competency, what are the behaviors expected? Okay. So let's say I'm talking about connecting DEI to the organizational performance, right? So here, so those behaviors are, or the proficiency indicators are already available. Okay. So whenever you are having a particular competency, okay. So we are talking about this one, connecting DEI to organizational performance. Okay. This is very readily available. Okay. You can see for connecting DEI to organizational performance, right? We have a different indicators. Okay. For proficiency indicator for HR professional, for advanced HR professional, right? So what we can do, this behavior also we can capture here. So what I will do, I will capture here and adding a behavior. Let's see whether I'm able to add it here or not. Level, or I can say for all HR professionals, this is the demonstrating. This is the behavior. Let's say. L1. So for simplification, I'll be making L1, L2 like that. Okay. So you can do for that. Okay. So I'm just mentioning like this. But again, it is super flexible, as I was saying. You can do as you like. I will make it as an active one, HR professional L1. Sorry. This is for one of the category. Another category, another behavior, I will just say L2. And for L2, we can have another behavior. So let's say this is another category of the behavior. So this is again readily available in this platform, in this document. Okay. But this is again an exercise itself, a project. Generally, HR professional or HR consultants, purely HR consultants, not the tech folks, they work on this area. Okay, so you can get all this information. Okay. So in my previous organization, there was a team, human capital advisory. They used to do all these things day in and day out, right? They are very much expert that area, but those inputs used to come to us, and we used to capture in this factor. So this is also possible. Okay, so this is again the external code will be auto-generated, but this is something which the behaviors, your competency behavior will be attached. Okay, you can be super creative, whatever you want, the way you like it. Okay, there is no as such restriction at present. Maybe in the future there can be, but this is how we can have all these details. So this is I just thought of sharing with all of you. Okay, so this is how you can maintain end to end. So I've just given an example of from a SHRM library how we have prepared one category of leadership, and inside that we had groups. Okay, and inside that we can have competencies and all. Okay, so here also, if you want, you can, okay, capture those details. Okay, so these groups. Okay, so inside these groups you have you can have those specific competency. So let me go back to our old example under leadership, diversity, inclusion. Inside that we are having key competencies. Okay, so similarly you can add on, keep on adding, and you can prepare this kind of a library like this. It is more exhaustive than the earlier one, okay, compared to the JPD. So this is all about the capabilities library which I talked about. Okay, so coming to the this one, so we prepared categories, groups, and competence we have. So what is the capability portfolio? Yeah, so that is second part of our COC or Center of Capabilities. So let's move on to that. So next one is a capabilities portfolio here. We will go here. So you can see that welcome to the capabilities portfolio setting wizard, as we have not started it, right? So this wizard will help you to scale your step-by-step process, which a couple of settings will be having, what kind of rating scale we can have, what kind of capabilities portfolio we can have, what is the translation level, everything. Okay, so all these things we can do that. So let's start with that. Yeah. So rating scales. Okay. So rating scales, so there are 4 steps you can see: rating scale, proficiency level, rating history, summary. Right. So here we can have proficiency level scale, number of levels in the proficiency. Generally, organization follow 5 rating scale. Okay. 5, 4, 3. So here we will follow the 5 rating. Lowest proficiency level value, let's say it is 1. Yeah. Display numeric rating. Let's see. Include 2 new to rate options. So, okay, that is fine. So you can just ignore it. Now, next one. Whenever we are saying this is again interrelated. Okay. So whatever we have seen the rating scale earlier, right? Those 5 proficiency level. Okay. So here you will be having different proficiency level. Okay. So level 1, level 2. Level 1 is a beginner, intermediate, proficient, expert, master. So these are the different 5 levels we can have. Okay, so I'm not going to add anything. So simply understand according to. Okay. So next one, we'll go to the rating history. So these are the different forms. Okay, whatever the forms you'll be having. Okay, so already it is coming up, and this is a, yeah. Can you guess from where these are coming? Yes, some of you have answered it right. Yeah, it is coming from your PMGM, performance management, goal management. Okay, so you can see a couple of them are already active. Okay, so you can see that inside here. Cannot double click it, but this is from a rating history also to be captured. Okay, so in your capability portfolio. Okay. So now we'll go to the next step. So this is a summary. Okay, so in this, what we have done. So basically, we are having one proficiency scale of 5 rating, and these are the different proficiency levels we can have: beginner, intermediate, proficient, expert, master, 5 level. Okay, so these are the things, and these are the forms or whatever we are having. Now we'll confirm it. The name and description for each of these will be proliferated all competencies in your system. Are you sure you want to continue? Okay. Yes. This is a one-time activity. But this is how the wizard we have to run the capability portfolio. So it will be just updating. It will take some time. And to make you understand, meanwhile it is updating. So there is a implementation guide as well for this. I would recommend. This one you follow. This is the latest implementation guide using how to use the center of capabilities. Okay, so this is you have a different whatever the topic we have discussed, right? This is actually I have taken from here. So this is more about the implemental side of it, but that I will discuss in the upcoming session, how to implement all these things from a security aspect, from an RVP role-based permission point of view. What are the different normalization concept, how to create all this, enable all these configurations, okay, and how to do a mass upload, okay, all this, you are having a lot of data. Okay, so all these details regarding the data protection, privacy, everything will be covered. It will be a course in our learning management system platform, new general platform that I will talk about later on. Okay, so now, yeah, so now the next step is you can see you can now enable capabilities portfolio for your organization. Simply, we could click enable this. Okay, yes, now we are done. Okay, so you can see you can rating scale, everything, whatever we have configured, right? So that is now coming up. Yeah. So this is something you can. The rating history means all the forms we can bring in. Okay. So these are the things which we can see from here. Right. Now coming to the last part, competency. So here we have already discussed. Yeah. So there are in this system we are having 90 plus competencies, and every competency can see that further details we'll be having, because already these 5 things we have already now assigned, right? So these 5 things now will be coming here. Okay. The proficiency level. Okay. So all the details you can see. So I think this is all about this, your competency library, all these things, right? And another thing which I would like to cover here, suppose if you want to write all these things, there is a writing assistant. Okay, so you might be knowing this, or for many of you, it might be a new thing. So yeah, so there is something called Managed Writing Assistant and Coaching Advisor. This is a tool offered by SuccessFactors. And to go inside the tool, yeah, click OK. I think it is taking some time. Okay, let's refresh it. Yeah. So this is the again, suppose if you want to write something here, so you can utilize this library. It's an Arabic one. Let's move on. Other library. This is not having any competency. Sorry. That you type out again. So this is a very good tools were available, and then writing assistant and coaching advisor. It should be English. Yeah. So here you can see for these are the different competencies we're having. If you see, I think the 90 plus competencies. Okay? And if you go any one of these competencies like learning quickly, yeah, this is my right again. So here you can see again. So here you can see there are different level. Okay, so like there is something called add teacher level, and here 3 category you can see: improve, meets expectation, exceeds expectation. Okay? So these are the 3 things or multiple things you can see that you have. These are the different exhibits. Okay, so suppose a person is exhibiting this particular competency is exceeding expectation. So these are the different qualities we should have, like understanding complex ideas in the first time, quickly understands complex systems, fully grasps new and novel ideas, capable of mastering information presented in many mediums, able to predict future ideas and trends, right? So these are the typical qualities of a person who is having this competency learning quickly and he's exceeding expectation. That means you'll be having these other different qualities will be having. Okay. So this is something I just thought of sharing with you, and you can come here and if you want to add anything or means and select something and you want to select a particular thing, okay, to other criteria and do that. So this is something also useful related to this. So now coming to some of the resources part. From a resource point of view, as I was saying, I always like official guide, implementation guide. Okay. So that you can refer for your implementation, end-to-end implementation of this center of capabilities. This is the guide which I was saying. Refer this. Other than that, there is another guide for your understanding. This is a ALP document, that is your architecture leading practices. Okay. So this is that explained about the job structure hierarchies and everything about it. Your competency library, competency framework, family mapping, job family, more details. Okay. So you'll be getting more examples, more technical information, more from architect point of view. Many more information you'll be getting from this guide. This is available also in your community.satisfactors.com. You'll be getting that from there. Similarly, we'll be having a wiki. Okay. Again, I used to use in my SAP HCM days, I used to use it a lot, but now this is also growing. Okay. So you'll be finding overall understanding, overview of the center of capabilities from. So I think that's all about for today's sessions. Hope you like the sessions. And this will be also available in our platform, in the new chamber platform. This will be available very soon. Yeah. For upcoming sessions, the implementation part and all, you can register for you can subscribe if you have not subscribed to my learning academy, that is Success Labs Academy. Okay. And looking forward to help you. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good day. Once again, happy Independence Day. Everyone. Bye.